Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas Clark. Today I'm going to be giving my PEST analysis of Mexico and stating whether I do or do not believe that it is a good place to invest your funds. Um, so to begin, I'm going to start with P, which is going to be delving into the political portion of Mexico, and I'll begin by saying that its political shape of the government is shaped just like the United States' government, where it has an executive, a legislative, and a judiciary branch. Um, but the main difference that I see, that I believe, is that the president has a little bit more control over local governing bodies, whereas in the United States, a lot more political power is held within a local office. Um, they also have their own political party affiliations. One of them being the Institutional Revolutionary Party, or the PRI for short. It's been mostly dominant in the past of Mexico's history. But the one of the main problems was in the 1980s. There was a good bit of corruption going on, which led to the founding of some of the other parties. One of those parties being the National Action Party, or PAN for short, is the acronym. Which with its founding, it had an election that it won in 2000 and 2006, and that's another main difference as well, is that instead of every 4 years, the presidential election is held every 6 years, so a president holds office for 6 years at a time. And one of the more left-wing parties that you're going to see inside of Mexico would be the Democratic Revolutionary Party, or the PRD. But they haven't held any power in office really, and are one of the lesser ones compared to the other two. So I will say, going back on the corruption aspect, with the cartels and whatnot that are found in Mexico, there are instances of bribery within the judiciary branch and other branches of government that kind of, should I say, doesn't give them as good of an image as it should. To put it in good terms, actually a study that is found in the report, half of the households in Mexico actually believe that the judiciary branch should not be trusted because of corruption. So we'll reiterate on this later, but I'll just head on to the next portion, which would be E, or the economic aspect. So with Mexico, it is a free market economy with social programs. Anybody who has studied any kind of economics will tell you that most any of countries will neither be far right or far left, or either, or more specifically, they'll be more of a mixed economy if they're more successful, should I say. But interest rates in Mexico make it a pretty decent place to invest as far as property. But the GDP rate is actually top 20 in the world compared to all the other countries. But being that the population is high in Mexico, and this is something that we'll touch on in the future, population is so high, the wealth is spread pretty thin across the board. So even though it does have a pretty high GDP, the wealth is distributed pretty far across, and poverty rates are a little bit more elevated, should I say. Excuse the cat, I'm sorry. Anyways, so that doesn't stop a lot of investors. Ford, Volkswagen, Nestle, those are just three of the main international companies that invest there and do some business there, but those are already pretty established pretty established companies that already have their ties in other places that are pretty successful. They do a lot of exporting. Obviously, you can see, like with NAFTA, and since 1995 and its founding, has done a lot of exporting with the U.S. Actually, 76% of their exports do go to the U.S., which is followed behind by Canada, and then behind them is Germany. But with NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, that was founded in 1995 by Clinton, he enacted it to where a lot more tariffs were reduced or eliminated, and trade was a little bit more cost efficient to ship over to different places, which outsourced a lot of production. And it's pretty. It actually was repealed by Trump, and it was replaced by the USMCA. But it has been repealed, and there was a lot of controversy because it affected a lot of the United States' GDP and growth as well. So then that leads me on to the S, which is the socio or cultural part of this PEST analysis. Like I said before, the population is 128 million in Mexico, which is fairly high for its country, and with its GDP, like I said, the wealth is spread pretty thin. Um, and just some more statistics to kind of give you an idea as to what the actual population looks like. There's 66.3 people per square kilometer, 2.2 children for every woman in the U.S. and I'm sorry, in Mexico, 96.1 males per every 100 females, and those are just kind of give you an idea of the population and what you have to look for as far as your workforce. 25 million people live in rural areas. 100 million people live in more urban areas. And that's just some ideas to that kind of reiterate where maybe you should invest if you decide to invest. Obviously, if you're going to be looking towards more agriculture, you're going to be looking in the more rural areas, for farmland and whatnot, and just depending on what you decide you want to invest with. Obviously, if you're going to be going with something maybe more technological or whatnot, you're going to be looking in more of a urban area because obviously it's probably a little bit more efficient to transport products and whatnot in those more urban areas because you don't have to travel very far to get from place to place. So that's that. Another thing that you want to consider whenever you're looking at the society as a whole is the problems it has with the cartels. Obviously, I mean, you've seen the news articles, I'm sure. Drugs being shipped, the cartels killing these people, killing those people, and you have to consider these things whenever you're looking at things like transport. If they're trying to, if they're trying to transport these goods, and the cartel has to, and the cartel is interfering with this, whether it's hijacking transport goods or maybe hijacking money transfers or whatever it may be. These are things that you have to deal with. And if there's lots of instances of robbery going on, the judicial branch is not helping you anything. The government's not helping you. It's kind of difficult to want to proceed with this. But anyways, that's that. I'll also go on to the next part of this. And I will also say that, whenever you keep in mind of the society, you want to look at the religion as well, because obviously Catholicism is very important in Mexico, and that's just something to keep in mind whenever a good manager is going to want to appeal to the needs that its workers are looking at, and being able to understand that will make you be a better manager. Which leads me to the technological side of it. Obviously, Mexico has come a long way as far as its technological improvements. Education has improved tremendously. The illiteracy rates have dropped all the way from in the upper echelon of the 80% down to below 5% since the 19th century, which is really good. And this is going to lead to more skilled workers. The more generations that will follow this, they'll become more skilled as well, and it has also led to more literacy in computer work, which is going to make you a lot more efficient for workers to be able to transport and use these machines to be able to become, like I said, more proficient. So that's the technological aspect of this. So to close, I'm just going to say that Mexico does have the potential of becoming a great place to invest and spread the wealth and become a powerhouse, as I explained in the report. But my problem, coming from somebody who's a big believer in economic policy, institutions are what makes your country, and with bad institutions, I'm not a very big fan of investing into a place that has bad institutions where you do not trust in the government. Without trusting the government and trusting that you're going to be protected and secured in case something wrong were to happen, that's not gonna fly right with me personally. The corruption and things. If those things were to be resolved, then obviously I'd have a different viewpoint, and I'd think it'd probably be a great place to invest in the near future. But a starting out company or a company that needs to get going, I do not recommend investing in Mexico. So thank you again for your time, and I hope you had a good day.